This one is finding domain and range of the following function based on this graph. I'll show you how to do this one. Though not many questions will ask for the range in the rational function like this, but it's not a big deal. So what you gotta do is this. Let's put this one to decimals first and see how graph looks like. So if you look at the graph here, so I'm gonna put divide first and then put x squared minus x minus 6 on the top, and then in the bottom, I'm gonna put x plus 2, right? So we have this linear graph, right? Looks weird. We got this complicated graph, but why do we have a linear graph? And as you can see here, when it hits the -2, you are gonna see something that says undefined here, like open circle. And it's gonna be, that's something we call hole. And our goal is to find it. So let's do this one. Step number 1. First, we're gonna factor top because that's a trinomial and that's factorial. It can be factored. So I'm gonna put -6. There's a hidden number 1, so it's -1 in the bottom. What are two numbers combinations that can give you this? -3 and +2, right? So this is gonna be x minus 3, x plus 2 over x plus 2, okay? Where x cannot be equal to -2. Why x cannot be equal to -2? Because what happens if you put -2 here? -2 plus 2 is gonna be equal to 0. Same thing here. The reason why these numbers are like called vertical asymptote is because if I put +2 here, that becomes 0, right? That cannot be happening. And that's why these are called vertical asymptote, like just switching the sign. So it's the same concept here. That's a vertical asymptote, possible vertical asymptote, okay? But we got a problem here. These two will be canceled out because they are like terms. Not like terms, like they are factors. It's common factors. So what we have left over is f of x is equal to x minus 3. But wait a second, we cross out x plus 2, which means still it does not change the fact that x cannot be equal to -2. And that's where this hole comes in. Because your graph, first of all, looks like this. Like, that's the graph. And to get this graph, we have a hole here, right? We gotta find this point, like -2, -5. How do I get this point? So hole is this. First, on the top, for the x value, you're gonna find -2. I get this number from here, but I have to have this number, right? So I'm gonna use red color. This is how you do. So f of x is equal to x minus 2. But what we're gonna do is this -2, I'm gonna plug in here. So I'm gonna get why did I put -2? It should be -3. Sorry. I have to -2 minus 3, right? -2 minus 3 is -5. That's a y value because that stands for f of x, right? So I'm gonna plug in here, -5. So your hole is -2, -5, okay? Okay, so let's do this. So that's a hole, but I don't see any asymptote. So vertical asymptote, I don't have anything. Horizontal asymptote, I don't have anything. This cannot be vertical asymptote because we used this point as a, like, what's it called? Hole, right? So there's no asymptote. It's just a hole. But still, this hole will give you the, what's it called? Impact the domain, because keep going to the left, it stops here, right? So it's going to be -infinity to -2, union -2 to infinity. Same thing for the range, -infinity to -5, because that's the y value, -5 to infinity. If this one does not make sense to you, make sure you pause the video and think about this, okay? Now try this one by yourself. It says find the domain. Well, you don't actually, in this case, you don't even have to find the hole, but here, it says find the hole. So never mind, you gotta find the hole. So first, x cannot be equal to -1, so your domain is gonna be -infinity to -1, u -1 to infinity, okay? That doesn't change. But let's try to find the hole. Do you see this one? Let's factor this. -3 and -2. and negative 3 and positive 1 will give you this. So you got x minus 3, x plus 1 over x plus 1, right? Where x cannot be equal to negative 1. And as you can see, these two will be canceled out. So you got y equals x, why am I putting parentheses? X minus 3, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I will plug this negative 1 inside of x. So what do I get? Negative 1 minus 3, which is negative 4. So whole is going to be x value negative 1, comma, negative 4. If you don't know where I got these numbers from, I got this negative 1 from here, negative 4 from here. That's the whole. So try this one by yourself. This one, you don't know what x value cannot be equal to. So let me give you a hint. Just factor this one, okay? So you get negative 10, positive 3. So you get x plus 5, x plus 5, x minus 2, right? So what you have to do, oh, by the way, now you know what x values cannot be equal to. It's going to be negative 5 and positive 2. So these two will be canceled out. So you get y equals 1 over x minus 2, right? Still, x cannot be equal to negative 5 and positive 2. But do you see this negative 5? We canceled out. That's going to become your whole. So it says find the domain and the whole. So let's try to find domain first. Domain is negative infinity to negative 5 comes first, right? Negative 5. U, negative 5 to positive 2. U, 2 to infinity. So that's the domain. Now let's find the whole. So first number is going to be negative 5 because that's the number that we canceled out. And what we're going to do is we're going to plug it here, which is 1 over negative 5 minus 2, which is negative 1 over 7. That's it. So that's about it. Just if you have any question, just let me know. In that case, I will help you. Yeah, love you guys. Bye.